Okay, I'll give everybody a couple more seconds and I will end the poll. And ending poll now.
Thank you, everyone. Appreciate that. We have approved the agenda. Now, due to the fact that we are going to be doing all of our interviews tonight, we will not be having any of our usually planned committee and working group reports. You can get the information from most of our groups in our newsletter, and you can see them in the weekly updates that are going to be coming out later this week. But we will be back on schedule as soon as we have finished doing all of our interviews, but this is pretty important. So I hope you can bear with us until we can finish all of our interview processes. I'm now going to call upon our treasurer, Don Lowry. He's going to give his report. You should have received that as well.
Thank you, Julia. We started off with a balance of $25,967.90. We had total income of $985. That was a mix of dues, distributions, tickets to the 4th of July picnic, and people who purchased tickets to yesterday's awards dinner through the club. Our expenses for the month of July included picnic supplies, reimbursements for both Jeannie and Julia, the sponsorship of the awards dinner in the amount of $300, and our Act Blue service fee for total expenses of $715.42, leaving us with an ending balance of $26,237.48. In addition, we received in-kind contributions of $84.99 for the picnic. We currently have 6 recurring contributions for a total of $250 a month, and we are at 133 paid members for the year. So, are there any questions? Not, that's my report.
I'm sorry, Jeannie. I was trying to unmute myself.
Uh-oh. I'm hearing an echo.
Yeah, we got it.
Okay.
It's taken care of.
Wonderful. Okay, you were sent the links for the 2 of our incumbents, Kai Eusebio and Teresa Lavelle, who interviewed last month, and they are both running unopposed, but we still would like to give them our formal endorsement, even though they are going to be sailing through without. It was great to have both of them. Kai is running for the Fairfield-Sassoon Unified School District Area 7, and Teresa Lavelle is a candidate for Solano County Board of Education Area 4. So I'm going to ask Julia to go ahead and administer the polls so that we can formally vote to endorse both of those candidates.
Okay. Oh, can I have a motion?
Sorry. Can we have a motion to start
So
the
moved.
polling?
Second,
by Gian.
Do we have any discussion?
Hopefully a lot of you were able to watch the video at your leisure during this past month, and we will be doing the same thing for tonight's interviews for any folks that were not able to be with us, or for those of you that were here that would like to go back and listen if you had any other questions.
Okay, so the first one is going to be for Kai Eusebio. And I wasn't seeing any hands for discussion, so I will go ahead and launch the poll. And I will go ahead and end the poll in 1 second. Vote now or hold your peace. And we do have an endorsement. So, then can I get a motion for Teresa Lavelle?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? I'm not seeing anything, so I am gonna go ahead and launch the poll. Okay, give it a couple more seconds. So vote now. And ending poll. Okay, thank you all. That is 2 for 2.
Yay. Congratulations to both of our wonderful candidates. Well deserved. Yes. So we are now going to begin the interview process for the 11 candidates who have asked for the Northern Sonoma Democratic Club's endorsement. All of our candidates, after I finish speaking, are going to be placed back into the waiting room, and we will call them out one at a time. I have sent the list out to all of our candidates so they know the order in which they will be called upon. Each candidate will have 2 minutes to make a brief presentation of an introduction of themselves and their campaign. They will then submit to a 5-minute question and answer period, with the questions being submitted directly to Julia Routz and Thomas, who will then ask them of the committee. These are questions that will be generated by the membership. We're going to do 6 of our candidates and then take a 10-minute break. The links to the interviews of videos of our candidates from tonight's meeting will be made available to review during the month. Membership will vote on endorsements during our September 14th general meeting. I'm now going to ask that all of our candidates be placed back into the waiting room. And I'm going to turn this over to Julia Routz and Thomas to begin the
It's gonna
process.
just take a second. I have to go through and people in the waiting room.
I see Dana Dean still.
Okay.
Hi, Dana. And
I'm
Catherine.
still in as well, Nikila.
Yes, I see Catherine Cadera-Setti too.
If you are if you were interviewing tonight, if you can go ahead and unmute yourself, it actually moves you to the top of my page. There we go.
I'm unmuted.
Awesome.
Julia will find you all.
I will. Let me just make sure I didn't miss anybody.
I see Dr. Chapman.
She's already been endorsed.
Okay.
It's just the people that are interviewing tonight.
Okay.
Because we often ask the same or similar questions of candidates, and it doesn't feel fair to have some
Right.
people get advance notice and some people don't. Okay, I'm not seeing anybody else. Is anybody else seeing somebody?
I do want to say thank you to Anna Patera for pointing out, rightfully so, that Nancy Dunn is also running unopposed. So wonderful. Yay, Nancy Dunn. Congrats to you.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to turn this over to Julia.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and admit Alma back into the meeting. Oh, I need. Okay. Alma, are you there? Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and spotlight you, and then I'm gonna try and start this timer and let me know if you see it.
I don't see it, but I am wondering if I can bring the other login for me. I'm feeling like I'm experiencing a little bit of a lag on the screen, and I just want to make sure.
Yep, just don't have two audios on.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, but I am hearing a lot of reverb, so it's coming off of both. So you're gonna have to mute and turn the volume down. Yeah.
Okay, can you hear me? No. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. And so when I press the timer, it's actually gonna just be in my screen, in my little box. The time will come on, and then it'll start beeping at the end. You will have 2 minutes to give your opener, and then we will do 5 minutes of question and answer. Ready?
Sounds good.
Okay.
Yes.
Here we go.
Well, hello, everyone. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to be able to be here today. My name is Alma Hernandez, or Alma Hernandez. I am the daughter of a carpenter and a factory worker, and I truly credit my parents for instilling the values of our work, with the work ethic and service to community. I have led our community in Suisun City. I currently serve as mayor through some of the most challenging times of our community, whether that was through post-pandemic recovery, addressing homelessness challenges, working through the change of leadership from the change of city manager and city attorney, which were acting citywide operations, to leading efforts of passing a tax measure, Measure S, that supported our ability to not have to dissolve as a city, to asking bold questions regarding our future, such as would we have the opportunity to explore expanding our city boundaries and what that would look like or not, and to current challenges we're experiencing right now, such as a cybersecurity incident that we've been challenged by since Friday. In addition to leading our city through some of these challenges, I am very much about service for people. So I've also worked to support in bringing resources to my community, such as resource fairs, to bring in mobile clinics, to addressing current concerns around HR1 that's going to affect people's health, as well as their food programs, to assisting families affected by immigration status and their concerns and fears, to supporting youth programs and assisting families who have been affected by fires and being with them in the moment of time that they were being were experiencing such a traumatic event, and being there to support them. My leadership is not just about leading the city, it's about leading people, service, and community, and looking for opportunities to bring resources to continue to uplift the quality of life of the residents who I hope could continue to feel proud to call Suisun City home. Thank you.
Good timing. Thank you. Let's go ahead and reset the timer for 5 minutes. At the end of the 5 minutes, any questions, I will let you finish that last question. And then any other questions that are in the chat, we will send to you via email. Okay, so starting the timer. And starting off with, how long have you been a registered Democrat? Have you been a member of another party? And to the best of your knowledge, have you ever endorsed a non-Democrat for office?
I've been a Democrat since I had the opportunity to register to vote when I was 18. I've only been a Democrat. I've never registered for a different party. And there's only one member of the Republican Party I've ever endorsed, which is Mayor Steve Byrd from the city of Dixon, for two reasons. One, my family members who live in the city of Dixon supported his leadership and were concerned about the opposing member. And two, when I became acting city mayor in 2022, he was one of the only mayors in all of Solano County who extended some guidance and mentorship at a time that I was stepping into a role that had been vacated by the previous mayor when they became an assembly member. So that is the only person I've ever supported who is a different party than mine.
Okay. What is your position on California Forever, the California Forever project, and any potential state legislation granting expediting of that project?
Suisun City is not supporting any legislation that expedites anything a part of the process. My leadership is about being able to be a caretaker of a process in front of us. Currently, we're exploring land that is owned by California Forever. They are the landowner. They're the only entity we can negotiate in the east side of Suisun City. And we're currently exploring the opportunity to see would we be able to expand or not. We are waiting for an environmental impact report that comes out this fall to be able to answer more about concerns that I've heard from members of the public, such as questions about transportation or water, as well as addressing desires from other members of the public who are looking for jobs and housing. So my role is to be a caretaker of the process, bring information forward so that we can actually have a better understanding of, is this feasible for the city, yes or no? And if so, what is feasible about it?
Okay. What do you think has been your greatest accomplishment while being mayor?
One of my greatest accomplishments is being able to lead the efforts for the tax measure, which was Measure S. At the time, if we had not been able to pass that tax measure by this year, by 2026, Houston City would have had to dissolve as a city. I dedicated my life, including having to withdraw from my professional job, to dedicate all my time and service to be able to lead those efforts. We successfully passed it by almost 73% of voter confidence and approval. And that speaks volumes about the leadership I've been able to bring with my community and the trust about how I continue to help lead efforts around sustainability.
What do you think the biggest challenge for the city of Sassoon is going to be for the next 4 years?
It will continue to be our structural deficit, our finances. Though we have put in a resiliency plan in place to look for different ways to diversify revenues into the city, this continues to be the singular issue and challenge that the city will continue to face in regards to how we bring more revenues to support police, fire, public works, resources, help continue to beautify our city and address concerns such as streets and deferred maintenance on our buildings. So this continues, revenue continues to be the singular challenge for Susu.
Uh, what do you say to those who say urban sprawl doesn't pay for itself?
There has to be an opportunity to look at the way that revenues are brought in by actual development that brings in sustainability to the community that does pay for itself, meaning you can implement certain things like community facilities districts, which the Susun City implements, so that when new development comes, those developments are part of this facilities district that helps pay for police, fire, storm drain, for example. So there are opportunities to continue to generate revenue, but you also have to be mindful about what you're investing and bringing into your community and how you develop mindfully.
Do you think it is a possibility for Sassoon to become part of Fairfield or another city within the next 4 years?
You know, in when Suisun City was struggling with that tax measure in 24, one of the council members from the city of Fairfield posed that to their city manager. And as it turns out, we would in depth it would create greater debt for the current structural deficit of the city of Fairfield. We have about $10 million of dredging costs. We have millions of dollars of deferred maintenance on our streets and deferred maintenance on our building, plus all of our different public services that we need to provide. So it actually would harm another city. So our goal is to continue to uplift our revenues. But if the city would have had to have dissolved, it would have most likely been absorbed by the county and become an incorporated part of the county.
Okay, well, our time is about to go off, so
Oh.
thank you very much. And I will go ahead and remove both of you back into the waiting room.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, and our next person is Tori Panduro. Admit. I do apologize if this takes a while, guys. It is a okay, so there you go. Okay. And Doris, I will go ahead and start the 2-minute timer for your opening statement. You'll see a little box on the corner of my screen over there somewhere. Uh, and after the 2-minute opener, you will get 5 minutes for question and answer. And we will let you finish out the last question. But if there are any additional questions that did not get asked, they will be sent to you via email. Okay, are you ready?
I am ready.
Okay, here we go.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. Thank you for this opportunity to share a little bit about myself. I am running for my second full term. I did have a 2-year term when I was first elected in 2020. So this will be my second full term that I am running for to represent District 5 in the city of Fairfield. Over the last 4 years, I have continued to work alongside the majority of my colleagues on our council goals, which include housing, homelessness, economic development, quality of life, organizational excellence, and community engagement. In District 5 specifically, I advocated for and helped realize a grant revitalization program for businesses on North Texas Street. $400,000 was allocated to enhance this corridor. When the city was negotiating for refunds with public services after their strike that impacted many of us, I advocated for extra trash pickup, so specifically at higher use bus stop garbage cans that tend to fill up more quickly. I drive by several of these as I drive to work and notice that many of them were overflowing. And so this is a great way to find a solution for this problem. And so up next on my wish list is to include some deep belly trash cans like we now have downtown, so that problem can now finally go away. On the topic of trash, I adopted a section of North Texas Street from Acacia Street to Travis Boulevard via the Adopt a Street program. You will find me out there one Saturday a month picking up trash alongside various community members and the Fairfield PD. And though it's only a few hours, it does make a difference. And this is really helpful because now we do have a trash porter due to the collaboration with the North Texas Business Street Association. It has been amazing to see the Robbie Burr Burger Rec Center. If you haven't driven by, you should come to life. It is not only going to be a community space, but it will also be a first five center, so for 0 to 5 education. With regards to homelessness, we have recently approved units of permanent supportive housing, which I'm really proud of. Thank you. You're on mute, Julia.
Thank you. Of course I am. Okay, I'm going to restart this. Okay. For question 1, how long have you been registered a Democrat? Have you ever been a member of another party? And to the best of your knowledge, have you ever endorsed a non-Democrat for office?
I am a lifelong Democrat, so I've never belonged to any other party. And I have, not to my knowledge, there was a miscommunication that happened a few years ago that there was thought that I had endorsed a non-Democrat, but that was just a miscommunication between myself and that candidate.
Okay. What is your position on the California Forever project and any potential state legislation to expedite that project?
Thank you. So for me, this California Forever is not so black and white. The unemployment rate in Fairfield is 5%, which is the same as Solano County. As of in June, just a few points below the state unemployment rate of 5.2, which is higher than the national average of 4.1. In Fairfield, we just had Budweiser close with displacing 238 workers. About 42,000 people commute out of Fairfield, while only 10,000 live and work in the city of Fairfield. That's an issue. We also have a $10 million deficit. So with regards to California Forever, I need to ensure as a policymaker that we as a city are at the table for discussions that involve economic development opportunities that may take place in the future, whether with California Forever or not. I would rather have us be prepared and be at the table with those discussions and be open to participate in discussions versus feeling the repercussions of decisions made without our voice being included and at the table. It is our due diligence. I feel it is my due diligence to explore options, be innovative, and find solutions to be able to move our city in a direction that is sustainable and physically responsible.
How would you be able to ensure that it was actually beneficial for Fairfield?
I think in conversations, whether with the city manager, with community, being open to those conversations. I know it's a big topic right now. I understand that. I've been watching it since the beginning, and I know it's going to have impact. And that's what I'm trying to say is that we have to be there to ensure that it does. And I think meaning that we understand that we're able to set the parameters for what they're trying to do. Probably won't get to vote anything specifically for them, but we might be able to work with them on something. I don't know what that is. I just don't want us to just say, have the door closed and not be open to having those discussions.
Okay. What has been your greatest accomplishment while serving on city council?
So I briefly mentioned the Robbie Burberger Rec Center. I was one of the first folks that the conversation was held with regards to the funding of opening, the funding for opening a First Five Center in Fairfield. There is one in Vallejo, and so it's been really amazing to have been in those initial discussions back in, I want to say 2021, 22, to now getting to drive by every day and seeing the progress made. This side of town, District 5, hasn't had any new development that is that is for community in that manner in a really long time. It is the old bowling alley site, so be able to give it life in a different aspect has really been something wonderful for me to have been a part of.
Have you endorsed anybody for mayor of Fairfield yet?
I have not. I am still deciding on if I'm going to do that or not.
Okay. Can you explain your decision on the Vista Ridge project?
Absolutely. So one of our priorities is homelessness. And so as a rep that though we are in districts, I do represent 120,000 when decisions are being made. I understand the concerns, but at the same time, there were folks that I was talking to, and I did my homework on it, my research on it. I went and visited other very similar projects. I actually have another very similar project in my district called Fairhaven. It's very similar to the Vista Ridge project. And so when we are making these decisions, it's about all the folks. And for me, I had to remember the folks that were either too scared to speak, were too embarrassed to speak, but the ones that really had family members that would benefit from this kind of project. I work with foster youth. This is a project that some of our transitional age youth could take advantage of, and so as well as veterans. So it is something that it was a hard decision in terms of, we took the brunt of a lot, but at the same time, I stand by my decision because it was the right thing to do. Uh, it was the right thing to do for a lot of members of our community.
Okay. Uh, we do have some more questions. We will email them to you.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Okay, I will move you back to the. Where did you go? There. Okay, who's next on the chopping block? Oh, Linda Davis Robinson. I do not see her. Let's go ahead and move on to Amit Pal. If Linda Davis Robinson shows up before the end of this first session, Jeannie will let her speak then. Okay, let's go ahead and admit Amit Pal. Oh, there he is. Go ahead and unmute yourself. We will spotlight you.
Can you guys see me?
Yep. Let me spotlight you. There we go. Okay.
Wow.
So there's going to be a timer right about there in my little window. So once that timer goes off, we will go ahead and stop the opening statement. You will get 2 minutes for your opening statement. You'll get 5 minutes for question and answer. After the timer goes off, you'll have the opportunity to finish out whatever answer you have. Okay, are you ready to go?
I'm ready. Can you guys hear me? This voice test. Can you guys hear me?
All good.
Okay, perfect.
There you go.
Good afternoon. My name is Amit Pal. I'm a council member and a business owner. I moved to Suisun City in 1993, immigrating from the US from India. Since then, my life in America has been intertwined with Suisun City. My wife and I are raising our family here. I served here as a volunteer police cadet and as a planning commissioner. I work to establish the Suisun Community Foundation to help save our July 4th downtown celebrations. Since 2023, I have served as your city council member. On the city council, I have stood for residents and our quality of life. And my background as a small business owner means I understand how to manage a budget and live within our means. I helped to bring one of Solano County's first entertainment zone policies to Suisun City to revitalize our downtown restaurants. When our city's garbage and recycling contract was up for renewal, I successfully pushed for an open bidding process, saving our residents money on their bills. I'm committed to protecting Travis Air Force Base from encroachment. As your mayor, I'll continue to stand up for fight for Sassoon City's residents' interests rather than allowing special interests to determine if and how our city expands. I am always available by phone or text at 707-803-6655. My website is in progress, mypalpremier.com. Thank you for your time.
So, let's go ahead and start with our first question. So, how long have you been registered a Democrat? Have you ever been a member of another party? To the best of your knowledge, have you ever endorsed a non-Democrat for office?
I have been a Democrat since I was 18. And I have, at times, due to friendships, I have endorsed a non-Democrat, and that was at one point with the Solano County Supervisor Jim Sparing, and trying to link through. That's all that I can think of at this point.
Okay. What is your position on the California Forever project and any potential state legislation to expedite that project?
So, as you guys probably know, I am on the council, and at the advice of the city attorney, I do not have a position. I know I'm waiting, like everybody else, for the EIR report to come in. Regarding any sort of legislation, I don't know too much about it, and I want to have a seat at the table if or those conversations are happening. But I think we definitely need to have local control and ensure that it follows a local control process.
Okay. So you are challenging a fellow Democrat. Why are you doing that? What will you be doing differently than the current mayor?
Look, I think, Alma and I, we went to school together. We've actually have an environment in California where a lot of Democrats are now challenging Democrats. This is just bring a different perspective as a business owner to be part of the city as mayor.
Okay. Your voting records are fairly similar, so I'm just kind of wondering what will you do differently?
So, do you have something in specific area or as a whole?
Just as a whole.
Okay, so my conversation has always been about, transparency, right? Fighting for the residents and really looking at things through the lens of the residents. I've always done that, and I think I will continue to do that, and bring in more economic development that I continue to push for.
Okay. What has been your greatest accomplishment while serving on the city council?
I think two of those I just listed. One was where I had to push for our staff to bring this entertainment zone policy to the city to help our local downtown restaurants to be able to thrive. And the second would be when the garbage rate came up. I worked for public services for about 6 months. I knew the people. And when it came time, I had stocks in public service. And when I talked to my wife, I said, my job is to serve the residents. And at that time, I took essentially sold my stocks at a loss to make sure that I had a voice to push for this contract to go for an RFP so that our residents get the best deal possible.
Okay. What do you think the biggest challenge is coming up for Sassoon in the next 4 years?
I think the budget, right? Most cities are structurally deficit, and that's what really scares me is we really need to tighten our belt, spend within our means and focus on that. So that's what kind of I've been focusing on.
Okay. What will you do to make yourself available to constituents during your term?
Well, so far I've always made myself available by Facebook Messenger, text message, email, to the point where if somebody said, hey, I have this water leaking on my gutter, I've actually gone out there with a shovel myself and cleaned up the leaves, throw it in, dispose of it in our green waste. So I believe I'm readily available to our constituents.
Okay. We still have a couple seconds, but I don't see any other questions. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the timer and say thank you very much. I will remove this up. And you will go ahead and go back into the waiting room while we conduct the rest of the interviews. Okay, who is next? Dana Dean. Okay. Okay, Dana, you can unmute yourself. Oh, where did you go? There she is. There she is. You are on mute, just FYI. There we go. Okay, so like everybody else, you get 2 minutes for your opening. There's going to be a little box in my screen right there that gives you the time. It'll turn orange when it gets down lower, red when it's almost up, and then a sound will go off at the end. At the end of your opening statement, we will have 5 minutes for question and answer. If there is a last question that when the time runs out, you will be allowed to finish out your answer. Any questions beyond that will be sent to you via email.
Okay, great. Well, before we start, you can hear me okay, right?
Yep, got you loud and clear.
Okay, fantastic. Just
Okay,
let
here we
go.
go.
Ready?
Mhm.
Okay. Well, first, I want to thank you all, honestly, for giving me the chance to chat with you. I'm very excited about that opportunity. In fact, mostly I'm excited about seeing all of you and connecting with so many of you that I've known for a long time and some new folks. I'm wildly impressed with 133 members and all the folks who've shown up. So I appreciate that, the chance to chat with you. As you may know, I'm a winner. Like my colleagues Teresa and actually other folks you've mentioned, as of Friday at 5:01, I had no opponent, so I've been taken off the ballot. Yeah. It's important for a lot of reasons, which I'd love to discuss with you. Chief among them is that's about 200 hours that I can spend on something else, and I have two something else's that I'd like to talk to you about. And of course, the other resources, financial and otherwise. I will mention that I was endorsed by the CTA, as I always have been. I've been on this board for 13 years, and I was on Benicia Unified for 5 years before that. And I'm also endorsed by the Labor Council, which I always have been. So I would love your support. I would appreciate it. But more importantly, I'm going to ask you to help me to work on two campaigns. The first is Catherine's. Love to chat with you about why that is so significant. Catherine, who's running in Trustee Area 6, it is critical that she get on that seat. And if you ask me a question about that, I will tell you. The other race or person that I think deserves our attention, support in every possible way is Kay Patrice Williams. So happy to discuss that. Thank you.
Awesome. Okay. I do have some standard questions, and since I have you here, I get to go ahead and ask them.
I'm going to try to turn them to the two things I want to talk about.
I know. Okay. What do you think the biggest challenge for SCO will be in the coming 4 years?
Okay, so it's always money is always the first issue, right? And given the uncertainty of federal funding, that's particularly significant. So we're always going to be looking at that. That's always going to be important. I'm very proud of the work that SCO has done with budgeting and also with pulling in grant money that we distribute all across the county and beyond. I'm excited about Nikki Parr being the head of that effort, and I think she's doing a great job. So I'm happy about that. The other challenge, which we're really going to face, and which is so important that we have a teacher's voice like Catherine on our board, is the onslaught of charter efforts. I'm a true believer in public money being spent on truly public education. And while I can never foreshadow a vote, that's illegal, I would never do it. I do think it's important to have that teacher's perspective so that we can understand the impact of diverting funds to charters. I have no doubt, none whatsoever, that if Catherine is not elected, that charters will come knocking at the door. There will be a shift. So I think that's important. And then we have a stronger focus on mental health services as time has gone by, and I hope that we and expect actually that we are able to even expand on the incredible work we've been doing thus far. So that's the
What
top three.
okay. What is your plan for special education within the county?
For special education within the county?
Mhm.
Well, I'm not sure. That's a pretty broad question.
It is. I mean, the SCO has a lot of responsibility within special
Yes.
education within the county.
Yes.
There have been a lot of movements to take direct control of special education from the county and put it back in the districts. So
Okay, I
is your
understand.
okay.
I understand. I would disagree that it's a lot, but yes, there has been some movement to take it back for the moment, and there's a variety of reasons why that's occurred, and it'll be interesting to see how that all plays out. I think you're referring to Vacaville. It'll be interesting to see how that all plays out. Certainly, that's their right to try to accomplish that. It has happened before that districts have come in and out of contract with us, essentially. But it remains, I think for the board in particular, our role is to shed light on the circumstances around special needs students, right? Well, that is our direct jurisdiction. The kids who need us most, the most vulnerable kids, foster care, incarcerated, homeless, and all of the children with special needs. So as a board member, my number one role in the area of what to do about special needs and how to impact special needs is to give voice to it or give an opportunity for those who need it to give voice to it. So we're policy directed. We're watching everything that goes on, and I think the most important thing is to pay attention to it and make sure there's an opportunity for others to be involved with it.
How will you ask for accountability for any charters?
Oh, well, I guess you haven't watched me do this before. You know, I'm an attorney by trade, and I work incredibly hard to make sure every detail is watched every time. We have one charter school that we have currently authorized. And as I'm mentioning, I expect, depending on the makeup of the board, we will have others come. And they have to report accurately. They have to meet every standard they're required to. There are layers of the way that happens. There's a contract, an MOU with the authorizing agency, which would be us. And they also have to meet statutory obligations. They are different, but they do exist. There's really 3 layers that they have to address on a consistent basis, and they just have to be held to those standards. I will also say, as you may know, we are the appellate body for all the decisions made at the district level. We have 6 districts. And it's similar there. They have to be able to clearly articulate, clearly maintain. Oh, I have so much I could say on this.
You can finish out your thought.
Okay, clearly articulate. We're tough. I'm tough.
Okay.
And that it doesn't matter if it's charter school or anything else. You know, my nature is to really issue spot and look for the details and make sure they are dealt with.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for appearing before us. Even though you have won your election, that doesn't mean that we don't want to hear from you. So
okay. If I could just leave with that, please take a hard look at helping Catherine and also standing up in support of Kay Patrice Williams, who is absolutely facing an onslaught of horrific racist and misogynist memes and everything else. She needs us to stand up for her and to tell those folks what they're doing is not okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank
Are
you.
you
It's good to see you.
are you gonna take off or do you want me to put you in the waiting room?
Oh, no, I'm happy to hang on.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, we're gonna go ahead and add Catherine. Okay, go ahead and unmute yourself. And Catherine.
Hi, sorry.
All good. Let me go ahead and spotlight. There we go. And so you'll get 2 minutes for your opening statement. There will be a little timer right there. Once that is complete, we will have 5 minutes for question and answer. At the end of that 5 minutes, you'll be allowed to finish your thought. And that's about it. You ready?
Yep. Hello, I'm Catherine Kadarasetti, but my students call me Miss K, and some people in Vacaville know me as Catherine Kazatsa. I am a fifth grade teacher and a teacher leader in my district, and I am running for Solano County Board of Education Area 6, which covers Southeast Vacaville and Dixon. I've been in the classroom for about a decade now, and that is the foundation for why I'm running. As a member of my school's leadership team, I am used to working with students, families, and my fellow educators to bring them into the decisions that affect them. I have also worked in collaboration between my district and Sac State in order to train new and veteran educators. And that experience has shown me how much stronger our schools are when we work together in collaboration instead of in isolation. I am also the girls soccer coach for the fourth and fifth graders at my school, where I work hard to build my players' resilience, confidence, teamwork, and to strengthen their ties to the community. This race is personal for me. I am a product of Vacaville Public Schools from Cooper Elementary to Wilsey Wood High School. They led me to UC Davis, where I earned my bachelor's in psychology, my teaching credential, and my master's in education. It's also where I met my husband, and we chose to move back to Vacaville to be close to our family and to be in the town that shaped me. Here's why I'm running now. Right now, our current Area 6 trustee is the only educator on the county board, and she has chosen not to run for re-election. Now, I want to be very clear. She has poured a lot of passion into this work, as have her fellow board members, but this is about what happens next. When she leaves, there will not be a single educator's voice left at the table, and decisions about special education, charter accountability, and holding our superintendent to account are too important to be made without someone who has worked in public education. I also want to be clear that I am not a politician. I am a teacher, and I am running so that I can bring a teacher's voice to the board.
Okay, awesome. Excellent timing. Let's go ahead and set for 5 minutes. So, how long have you been a registered Democrat? Have you ever been another party, registered as another party? And have you ever endorsed somebody for elected office that is not a Democrat?
No, I've been a registered Democrat since I was 18 and voted in my first election. And I have never, was it endorsed or voted
Yeah,
for?
endorsed.
I have never endorsed anyone who is not from my party.
Okay, so let's go back to my questions. What do you think the biggest challenge for SCO will be in the coming 4 years?
I think the biggest challenge will be special education funding. I know that it has been difficult for the special education federal funds to come in, and so we're going to have to be creative about how we're prioritizing special education funding and making sure that we're doing whatever we need to do in order to make sure that our students are getting the resources that they need and that our special education teachers are also getting the resources that they need in order to be successful.
What prompted you to run for the County Board of Education instead of the Vacaville School Board?
So I believe that to make a difference, you have to be willing to do things even if they make you uncomfortable. And so I've been challenging myself to try and earn this position so that I can make a difference for my students. Because even though am nervous about being a politician since I am really a teacher at heart. I want to push myself so that I can remove the barriers that are keeping my students from being successful and that are preventing educators from staying in this field.
What is an initiative or issue that you feel strongly about that you want to address on the Solano County Board of Education?
One issue I feel very strongly about is immigration. So I know that there have been laws passed that are mandating that California schools be safe haven schools, but I have not seen Solano County take those steps yet. I know Solano County Board of Education has put out a statement with some links to resources that have been developed by the state, but I want to make sure that we are really creating a safe haven district, just like in Natomas where I work, so that all of our students, no matter where they're from, believe that they belong.
What do you think about special education within the county, and where do you think it should go? It's a really big question, but just kind of general thoughts on special education within the county.
So I know that most of the school districts they rely on Solano on the county board for special education, except for Vallejo City. They have their own SELPA. But so the question was just special education in general?
Yep.
Sorry. Okay. And so I want to make sure that I'm working in collaboration with the educators, with other trustees. For example, I met with Nancy Dunn and Audra Orr, and we discussed special education in Vacaville Unified and how that works. And I want to make sure if we have something that works in Vacaville, let's see if we can make that work in other districts as well. And so I would want to work in collaboration with, like I said, the trustees, with families, with students who are actually in special education to make sure that they're getting the resources they need to thrive, and with my fellow educators so that they have what they need to make sure that their classroom is successful.
How would you ask for accountability from any charters?
So I would want to see data, and I would want to look at that data to see, okay, are which students are successful, and what does success even mean? So I would want to be collaborating with the educators at that charter to know exactly how they think they're being successful and where they think they can grow. And then I would want them to have data that can prove that growth. And I would also want to follow up at certain intervals to make sure that they are actually meeting those goals. And if they're not, then we need to figure out what we need to do differently in order for all students to thrive.
Okay, well, we have 30 seconds left, but that is the end of my questions. Anything else from the membership? I am seeing anything. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I know it's boring in the waiting room, but
No.
actually we'll be letting everybody in because we will be taking a break. And I will remove your spotlight so that you don't feel like your face is all over the place.
Okay.
Okay, Jeannie, you're on mute.
Okay, everybody, we have reached kind of the halfway point, and we are going to take a 10-minute break. So we're going to be back at 10 minutes after 7. So go stretch your legs, make yourself a cup of tea, whatever you need to do, and we will be back at 7:10 to continue interviewing our candidates. Okay, so it is 7:10. I'm hoping that people will be mindful of the time. I'm going to kind of like just hang in here and hope I start to see lots of folks checking back onto their screen so that we can get started for our next go round. I'm actually pretty excited. We have been very timely. We have done exactly what we planned. And we are so grateful that all of you were there at 6 o'clock so that we could get started, so that we have an earlier evening. So much appreciated. Okay, so we've got some folks that need, unfortunately, to be put back into the waiting room. We've got Nikila Gibson. Doug Carr is not going to be able to join us tonight. He has a family emergency that is quite urgent. He cannot come. He has sent his apologies, and he will be joining us in September. And we have Devonna Finley. We were going to hear from Santiago Serrato, but he also is running unopposed. So he did not want to come in tonight, but sends his regards. Jewel Fink is here and Princess Washington. So we're going to ask those folks to be back in the waiting room.
Everybody except Nikkila's in the waiting room.
Wonderful. And I sent out the email to the other candidate, and I will be monitoring my email, Julia, to see if she is going to be joining us tonight.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's go ahead and spotlight you, Nikila.
Hi.
Thank you for being here. I have been told you can see the timer on your own screen, so I don't need to tell you where it is. You will get 2 minutes for your opening statement. You will get
Let me locate it.
Oh, it won't come on until I start
Oh,
it.
okay.
Don't worry. You're not seeing. You're not.
I'm like, well.
You're not missing anything. You will get 2 minutes for your opening statement. You will get 5 minutes for question and answer. When the timer goes off for the 5 minutes, you can feel free to finish out the answer to your thought for the answer to the question. Any additional questions that we have that were not asked will be emailed to you, and they will be sent out to any answers we get will be sent out to the membership as a whole. Okay, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Starting.
All right. So thank you for the opportunity to speak with you. I'm Nikila Walker Gibson, and I'm running for mayor of Fairfield. Fairfield has been my home since I was 5 years old. I grew up here. I graduated from Fairfield High. I'm raising my family here. I'm a mother of 4. I built a business here, and over the last several years, I've had the opportunity to serve this community in a number of leadership roles. I currently serve as Tri-City NAACP president, as First Class Solano Commissioner. I have worked in regional economic development through California Jobs First and the Napa Solano regional process. My work has brought me to the tables with businesses, labor, government, education, community organizers, and residents throughout our region. And that experience is a major reason why I'm running. I've seen the resources, investments, and opportunities that exist outside of Fairfield, and I've seen what happens when communities are organized and prepared to compete for them. I want Fairfield positioned to do that. My priorities are public safety, homelessness, economic development and opportunity, housing and transportation, quality of life, and stronger regional partnerships. At the center of all this is building a stronger economic foundation. We cannot substantially invest in public safety, infrastructure, housing, or community services without the resources to do it. I'm running to bring people together around a long-term vision for Fairfield, strengthen our regional voice, and make sure the opportunities coming to Solano County translate into opportunities for Fairfield residents. That's what I mean when I say build Fairfield forward.
Okay. And then put 5 minutes on the timer, and we will start with the question of how long have you been registered as a Democrat? Have you ever been registered as another party? And have you ever endorsed somebody for elected office that was not a Democrat?
I have always been a Democrat since I was old enough to vote. So that's since 2005. I have never endorsed a candidate other than a Democratic candidate that I'm aware of. And what was the last question? I do apologize.
Have you ever been a member of another party?
Oh, I have never been a member of another party. Thank you.
Okay. What is your position on the California Forever project and any potential state legislation that would expedite that project?
Yes, so I have actively worked in opposition of the East Solano Plan project, as it was called originally. Well, that wasn't the original name, but as it has been known as. I do not support that project currently because there is a lot of infrastructure problems, and I have a issue with, I have concerns about displacement of our current city members, residents. Also, the environmental factors as well. I have advocated for environmental justice since for years, so there are environmental concerns, but also mainly considering they don't have a current proposal from the marketing material. I read through everything, and my major concern as of this moment is that the residents could potentially lose their voice when it comes to what type of infrastructure and what type of businesses or what type of housing goes into that area. They're currently looking to rezone it, and the way that it is currently written is if whatever it's zoned for, it is allowed to go there. So it's not a democratic process. When it comes to current state legislation, I do not support any trailer bills or any other type of workarounds or anything that removes the voice of the residents that are living in the areas that are affected by this project. So I have advocated in spaces to not, I have advocated with Solano Together. I am a founding member, and we have discussed with legislators about this about a possibility of bills that could override the democratic process. So I am not in support of the project as it stands. However, there could be discussion about infill. I do support infill development, and that would be evaluated separately if that was brought to me as a Fairfield mayor. I don't believe in I believe that every proposal should be evaluated equally. So I'm not going to go in with a pre-deposition if they were to just want to discuss an infill project within Fairfield.
What do you bring to the table as a mayor that the incumbent council members do not?
So what I bring in is regional partnerships. I have worked all across the region in economic development, and along that way, I have met lots of different organizations and people that are doing amazing work, and Fairfield can benefit from those. So one of the reasons why I'm running is I had participated in California Jobs First, and with that we had a $9 million pot that was going to be distributed across the 9 Bay Area cities. Fairfield did not have a project to submit. That was concerning, especially considering our location, that we should have had something to submit. So therefore Fairfield missed out on funding that was readily available to us, because we lacked the economic development and workforce projects to bring to fruition to compete for this funding there. So I'm bringing economic development experience. I know how to work with a limited amount of resources. I love going out there, making new connections and trying to bring the eyes to Fairfield. I also believe in bringing people to the table that are affected on issues that are surrounding Fairfield, so we can know more about the lived experiences of our community members. I'm out there all over the place. So I believe I bring a wide range of experiences, experience with large budgets, experiences with increasing revenues, and experience with I have dealt with some policy as well. I'm not writing it, but voting on different.
Okay, if you want to finish your thought.
Well, no, just thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay. Go ahead and put you back in the waiting room. Okay, who is next? Devon. Hi, everyone. Hello there, Donna.
Hello. Hi, everyone.
Hello. So you will have 2 minutes for your opening statement. You will have 5 minutes for question and answer. When the timer goes off, feel free to finish your thought. And then any additional questions, if there are any, will be sent to you via email after the fact.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So are you ready for your 2 minutes?
Yes, I am.
Okay, here you go.
Well, hello, everyone. My name is Devonna Finley. I am a candidate for Vacaville's District 4 Councilwoman seat. I have spent the last 15 years of my life, since high school, basically being an advocate for senior and senior care, though I am a former school district employee for the FSUSD school district. So I do thoroughly understand what it takes to build a prosperous future for all ages and demographics. For Vacaville specifically, I was born and raised in Solano County, and I went to Fairmont School in District 4. So I've seen Vacaville grow from the beginning. I understand the perspective that everyone who loves Vacaville has and the potential that we have to grow. I really do want to address the things that are putting a burden on our quality of life. I know that housing is a major issue that I want to address specifically for elders and seniors, also for the younger demographic who are trying to move out of their parents' and grandparents' houses. There's a lot of struggle going on, and I am willing to be that person to take their concerns beyond the borders of Vacaville. I will go to Mike Thompson's meetings the way I did today. I will go to Sacramento and be that voice for the people that just aren't able to be there. I'm an experienced community builder. I have a YouTube plaque on my wall. I built a community full of elder people, men who follow me in my motorcycle group. So I really do enjoy being an advocate for other people. And I am hoping to be able to extend my talents to garner community to the city of Vacaville. You know, I have an international audience. Now I want to bring that to the community that I love and that raised me. So I really appreciate the opportunity to come and speak with you guys. And I welcome any questions that you may have of me.
Okay, there we go. Okay, how long? Oh, let me add the time. That's it. Okay, how long have you been a registered Democrat? Have you ever been a member of another party? And to the best of your knowledge, have you ever endorsed a non-Democrat for elected office?
I have, my first registration was Democrat. I think maybe I was independent once, and it lasted 2 months because I got a new DMV license. But no, I've never been anything, you know, registered any other party other than Democrat, and I have not endorsed anyone other than a Democrat. And my endorsements are very public and online. So going back years, I cannot fib about that.
What is your position on the California Forever project and any potential state legislation that would expedite that project?
I don't have any feelings concerning that when it comes to the city of Vacaville, because that truly is my focus. And obviously I'm a very nosy, well-versed political candidate. I know a lot of things that are going on in other states. So I am familiar with California Forever, just not necessarily the intricacies, but I would be hesitant always to just check about the impact it would have on my demographic, my city, and how my constituents feel about that. Because as a public servant, I'm always going to value the insight of the people that elected me to an office before I value my personal feelings or insight. So regardless of how I see it, the feelings of my constituents matter more.
Do you support the proposed tax measure in Vacaville?
What is the proposed? I know there's more than one. So which one?
I believe the sales tax, which
the 1% sales tax?
Yeah.
Absolutely, to correct a deficit. I think that's very little that we all can do. I think we all still have the now vintage penny still somewhere in the house that we can contribute to that. So yes.
Okay. What do you think the biggest challenge for Vacaville is in the next 4 years?
Community involvement. It really takes everybody utilizing their vote, their voice to instill leaders that have both the vigor and the virtue to lead us through what we can't do ourselves. I know a lot of people are not politically active. They don't have the awareness. They don't have the time, but we still need the participation of everybody that we can in order to facilitate these changes that make all of our lives better, which is why it's so important that our leaders be community builders. You can't just be educated in the measures. You have to know how to bring people together of all backgrounds, of all demographics, different ages. You have to capture everyone's attention. And so I think it's a really good time to bring in some, I guess, younger blood. They've been asking for the youth to get involved. I guess I'm still considered a part of the youth. So we're trying to kind of help you guys move Vacaville forward. And if I can lend my voice to being one of those leaders, I surely will.
Okay. What do you think about the project? I forget what it's called, but it would be a truck stop over by the new development over by Cherry Glen or something like that. Do you know about that?
I don't know much about it, but if we are lacking truck stops, and I think is it an overnight truck stop for the truckers that are just like layovers in their trips? Yeah, if we are lacking in that type of service that's necessary for truckers to safely complete their trips, because I know they have mandated rest times where they legally can't even move those trucks. So if it's necessary for them to complete their jobs, absolutely. I'm not, trying to mess up anybody's job. We need them.
What is your history of civic engagement within Vacaville?
Within Vacaville, well, like I said, I am internationally active throughout different countries. I I have complained, funnily enough, on social media about like Highway 37, and I know it reached the ears of some important people. Just kind of vocalizing the concerns and the frustrations of my neighbors. Like there's certain things that I know make their days harder. So I am not afraid to get on a social platform at a local congressman or at the governor and be like, look, we have a state, we're like the sixth largest economy in the world. There's no reason we should have a backup on 37. There's no reason this shouldn't be addressed. There's no reason Main Street should not be bustling. And I personally lead a large motorcycle group with a lot of friends. And when I heard Main Street needed patrons, I brought 60 motorcycles down there on a Wednesday to have those business jumping and to meet the business leaders because small businesses matter. And I wanted them to know that we did care and we're willing to facilitate an exchange to see them prosper. And if, my community is welcome, if I can bring these bikers with disposable income into the community, into your businesses, they love to support small businesses. So I'm always active with city council or the business association, trying to be of help anywhere that I am welcome.
Awesome. Well, we have 5 seconds left, so thank you very much. And I will go ahead and remove you back to the waiting room. Okay, and Jewel is next. Okay. And Jewel may not have video, so we will do what we need to do. There she is. Okay, well, that's fine. Okay, Jewel, you will have 2 minutes for a opening statement, and then we will have 5 minutes of question and answer. If there is any additional, when the timer goes off for the 5 minutes, feel free to finish your thought. If there's any additional questions, we will send those via email. Okay, are you ready?
I am ready.
Here you go.
And you can't see me, I don't think, so I don't have to worry about having corn on the cob on my teeth, but I've been on the Dixon School Board. I was elected in 2018. When I moved to Dixon, I've always been in education my entire life, was a teacher, an administrator in the Vallejo School District for 41 years. I worked for Planned Parenthood as the Director of Community Services and Education for 13 years, and then finally retired and then moved to Dixon. So I've been on the board 8 years and seen people come and go. Currently, we have, I think, an excellent board. We have selected a new superintendent, and he is going to be beginning his 3rd year. We have a complete different administrative staff and 2 new principals at the elementary schools out of 3. And so we've made some wonderful progress, I think. And since I've been on the board with Superintendent Dolan and now with Superintendent Barley, and I'm very excited to see what we've laid in place in the last 2 years. And I'm excited to run again to see this progress towards building a school district.
Okay. So let's go ahead and start the 5 minutes for question and answer. We'll go ahead and start with our question of how long have you been a Democrat? Have you ever been registered as another party? And have you ever endorsed a non-Democrat?
I've been a Democrat, I think, since I was maybe old enough to realize that my parents were both Democrats. And my father was very active in starting the union at Hercules Powder Company. And my mother, taught school for years. And I don't remember that they even had a teachers union back then. But I've been a Democrat since I could register to vote. The first president I voted for was John F. Kennedy. I've never been registered in another party, and I've never done anything like vote for Reagan. I was not a Reagan Democrat or any other kind of voting for a Republican. Um, so I would say that probably when I was in college, I went to Berkeley, I was pretty progressive. And as I have approached this uh, time in my life, I would say I'm kind of a middle of the road Democrat currently.
Okay, what do you think the biggest challenge for Dixon Unified will be in the coming 4 years?
Well, I think our biggest challenge that's coming up in November is two things: is the board. We have 7 people running, which is fabulous. I think that's wonderful. However, I think only 2 of us are Democrats, and so it's very important for me for us to hold our seats. The other challenge is that we really need to pass the bond. And I am going to work like crazy, do everything I possibly can because our schools are old. Even our new high school is old. And so those are the challenges. We're doing great things. We're getting grant money. We have a community school. We're getting new curriculum. We're doing a lot of teacher training. We
This
have
is Jewel Fink. It can't be her.
pardon
Sorry,
me?
keep going. This is Jewel.
Oh,
Keep going. You're fine.
okay. So a lot of wonderful things are happening. We've launched a new walk to read program for elementary school kids, where every 6 weeks they are they are they go through 6 weeks of reading at their level, and then they're tested with iReady, and so we have really already are showing progress in reading. Our reading scores are better than the national average and the state average. So there's an emphasis on reading. We have new math curriculum at the middle schools. We're just doing all kinds of community kinds of things, having the Rotary and the Dixon Women's Improvement Club and every kind of the Lions and community partners so that we will have community schools. We have a wonderful dual immersion program that is growing. It started at pre-K, and now we're going into, I believe, third grade this year. So there's just a lot of exciting stuff happening. I want to be here. I want to be there on the board to see it to fruition.
Okay. Is Dixon Unified School District ready to handle the students that will be coming in from the large developments in Dixon?
Well, people have their panties on fire around this is going to happen tomorrow. It's not going to happen tomorrow. It's going to be a 30-year process. And what's interesting is that the houses, there's not, I believe it's 1 point something people that are school age coming into our schools. So the people that are buying houses are not, they don't have 20 kids. They don't have, it's not the way it used to be. People just don't even have 2 hardly. So I don't see that we're going to be much more than a 3% increase in population over time. I grew up in El Sobrante. My parents were the first people that lived there besides the dairy and the pig ranch. And now El Sobrante is just full of tract homes. And it's still in the county, it's not incorporated. But I saw it happen there. And it took my lifetime for that to happen. It took from the time I was 2 until I was 75 for Elsa Brandy to change and become what it is today. That's going to happen here. So I appreciate the Keep Dixon Green folks. There, but it's not going to happen overnight. And I don't see now. Tremont School is getting pretty full. Our middle school is getting pretty full, but the other schools have empty classrooms.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Jewel. We have some additional questions, so those will be sent to your email, and any answers will be sent to the membership as a whole. I will go ahead and put you in the waiting room for our last interview, and then everybody will be let back in. Okay, Princess Washington is next. I am admitting her. 2 minutes. Okay. And Princess, if you can unmute yourself, I can
Hi, can you
find
hear
you.
me?
There you go. When you unmute yourself, you get pushed up to the top. It's much easier to see you. Okay, so you will have 2 minutes for your opening. You will have 5 minutes for questions and answers. There is a timer that you will see. When the timer goes off for the 5 minutes, feel free to finish your thought. And are you ready?
I'm ready, yeah.
There you go.
Hi, everyone. My name is Princess Washington. I am seeking re-election for the same seat on Sassoon City Council. I'll be very honest, I was reluctant to run again given the recent challenges that we've been facing. And, public service takes a toll on you, but I've been really inspired by the community and people reaching out to me, wanting me to rerun. And what I will tell you is Sassoon is definitely at a crossroads with some of the decision making happening. And one thing that I know is really important is, having someone on the council that is there for the people directly and listening to them. And so I feel I've done a really great job of representing the people and not overly, I would say, working for the city itself, but really just being the elected representative of the population, which that's what I'm entrusted to do. I believe Sassoon City still has a bunch of potential. We have a great community, and it's up to us to really make it what it needs to be. I work well enough with my colleagues to move things forward and, do what I or we think is best, but I'm also strong enough to stand on my own when needed and state my case. I feel I've been doing a great job with communicating with residents, being open and accessible, which is really important at the local level. And that's why I really only want to stay at the local level because I love the accessibility. I think, beyond that, it gets a bit convoluted. And I love that our seats are at large. And so we represent the entire city. And, it's not siloed in the way that other cities are. So I love that we're small and versatile and nimble. I love what Sassoon City represents. I love where we are. And I think, we are definitely at a crossroads, but if done correctly, I think we can maintain a lot of what we hold near and dear. And my job is just to be the representative of the people. And that's what I'm seeking to do this next term.
Excellent timing. Let's go ahead and do 5 minutes. Yep. Okay. How long have you been registered a Democrat? Have you been registered as another party? And have you endorsed somebody for elected office that was not a Democrat?
Yeah, so I've been a Democrat since 18, when I was eligible to vote. I have always run Democrat. I will always stay Democrat. However, I do recognize the importance of being nonpartisan on the local level, but that does not mean I have to compromise my values and what I believe in for my party system. The only candidate I've ever endorsed that wasn't quote unquote a Democrat was Mitch Mashburn. That was due to a personal relationship and knowing him, and really I had given him my endorsement prior to knowing who else was running, and I did want to keep my word and my integrity. Mitch is kind of an anomaly in the sense that he's purple. He's not entirely Republican, nor is he entirely Democrat. And I still think I made a pretty decent choice in that. We align ourselves with some of the decision making at the county level that I needed his support in, and we have a good relationship. But that's the only person that I've ever done that with, and I've learned my lesson. So now I wait until the filing period. And I attribute a lot of that to just being new. I used to be like, oh yeah, of course, I'll endorse you. I didn't really understand. Now I'm a bit more closer to the vest with that because, once burned, twice shy. But not that I think I made a poor choice in endorsing Mitch. It's just I've learned the importance and gravity of that. And so from now on, I'm really quite, I don't want to say careful, but not as eager to endorse, knowing the repercussions that can happen, so to speak.
Okay. What is your position on the California Forever project and any potential state legislation that would expedite that project?
So it's no secret. I've been the lone no vote on the city council. I still have a lot of concerns of the scale and impact of this project that we have yet to, I would say, even know of. I'm eager to see the EIR, but I've been very reluctant since the beginning. And quite frankly, I do not support any special legislation because I believe in due process. I believe in, quite frankly, there has already been some circumventing in our processes here in Solano County. If you keep in mind the orderly growth is an actual law of our county that is now being circumvented through our expansion, which fine is completely legal, but I don't want any other, I would say, impact on our ability to do what's best for our area. I believe that it's a badge of honor to go through CEQA and to go through the rigor of developing in California. And part of what makes us special and unique are our protections that we have in place. I believe everyone should go through the same process, and I believe the process we have now is quite fair. I look forward to LAFCO, and I'm assuming the council will move this forward. I look forward to LAFCO and that decision-making authority because we have to have checks and balances. That's the mark of democracy. I've been really dejected with the fact that I was not able to agendize the public having a non-binding vote on expansion. I think that's important for the people to weigh in, especially since the orderly growth was circumvented through um, expansion. So looking at the fact that normally we would need 2/3 vote of the county and putting it into the hands of five is already, I think, enough. And I wouldn't support any further demise of our democracy in that regard.
Okay. What has been your greatest accomplishment while serving on the city council?
I think being accessible and transparent and not allowing the seat to change me. I am who I am, and I'm happy with how I've grown, but I've never let the authority I have take me away from the people and keeping them first. I think I'm really, really proud of the fact that I've stood my ground and my beliefs despite the pressures and challenges, and I think that's so important, especially when we're making decisions that can impact so many. And I've also, really maintained my integrity, and staying true to what I know is important, which is not losing the, I would say, the faith of the people, because that is who we serve. We don't work for the city. We don't work for staff. We work for the people that elected us. And I've always kept that at the front and center of all my decision making. And it's so important to maintain that communication line and also knowing to reach out for help if I don't know the answer. Or there's been times on the dais where I thought I knew, and then hearing public comment, I changed my mind because that's what I'm supposed to do. So I think that is the greatest accomplishment, is that you represent the people that put you there and you have not lost that confidence of them.
Okay, since I have a couple of questions, seconds left, I will say, have you made an endorsement for mayor of Sassoon yet? Did you hear me? Oh,
Sorry, that really cool music. Yes, I am going to be endorsing a MIT-PAL.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, that was all. There might be some more questions. Any questions that we do have, we'll send you via email. Okay, and I'm gonna take off the spotlight and admit everybody back in. We are officially done with interviews, Jeannie, unless the other person had gotten back to you.
She has not, so we will add her to the list for next month. But we have completed our interviews for this evening, and we're going to be finishing the process with the remaining candidates that we haven't talked to yet in September. As I said before, the videos from tonight will be online for you if you want to go back, and if you think that you maybe missed something during one particular person's interview, please feel free to go ahead and take a look at those and be ready to vote after we have heard from all of our candidates in September. I do want to say thank you to all of our candidates who came tonight. We always appreciate you coming and talking about your vision for your community. And we want to thank you for the thoughtful answers that you provided for all of our questions. We do not have any club business this evening, and I'm going to move right into the announcement period. And no one got in touch with me before the meeting for announcements. So if you have an announcement, please raise your hand. And we will, oh, Tony, you were, wow, that was quick. Going to call on Tony Yang. Thank you.
Just a quick announcement. If anybody's interested in doing a very light canvas with me, as most of the club knows, I'm running for community college district. I'll put the link in the chat, and you can volunteer that way.
Thank you, Tony. Nice to see you're hitting the ground running, literally. So we will like to hear the dates and the times for your upcoming canvas. And I hope a lot of people will show up and help you. Anybody else? Do we have any other? I cannot see the whole screen. Oh, I see Don Lowry's hand. Yes, Don.
Yeah, I just wanted, since we do have a few minutes, wanted to let the members know that last weekend, well, not the weekend that just passed, the previous weekend, the state party voted to endorse Van Allen for insurance commissioner. But on the other hand, California Labor Federation is endorsing Jane Kim. So depending on who you choose to support in that race, you may decide whether you walk with Labor or you walk with the party in the coming election. The rest of the endorsements on the propositions went largely as expected, including, most importantly, I think for a lot of people's interest, the party voted to endorse Proposition 40, the billionaire's tax. So we'll put out more detailed information about where the party stood on all those endorsements and share that with the club through Jeannie. But just wanted to give people that quick update from the state e-board meeting down in San Diego.
Do you have any other comments that you'd like to make about your experience? I know that the executive board got a chance to hear from you, but would you mind sharing a few of your thoughts, Don, about your foray down south?
Well, I will simply say that San Diego is rapidly becoming one of my favorite cities. And should I ever win the Mega Millions or Powerball, I may have to be a remote treasurer. But otherwise, it was an interesting experience for us, and we engaged in a lot of business that perhaps could have been conducted online. And I think I will be diplomatic and leave it at that.
Thank you, Don. And I'm glad you had a good time in San Diego. I have never been, but I have heard that it is an absolutely lovely city. So that's a great choice for having an event, kind of an inducement to getting people to show up, I would think. So do we have any other questions? And Julia, I may need to have you help me because I cannot see all the folks on the screen.
Here, I can change it if you want. Maybe.
But I do not see anyone, and you can tell me if you see anybody.
I am not seeing anybody. So,
well,
if you have anything, unmute yourself. But
speak
otherwise,
now or forever hold your peace. I see nothing that anybody needs to announce, but remember, you're going to be hearing from us in the weekly announcements. So there's plenty going on. And truly, if there are things that you want us to know about and you want us to put in that weekly announcement flyer, please don't hesitate. I see your hand is raised. Yeah.
That's me. School starts this week for FSUSD, I believe, Vacaville. If you have the means, to have the opportunity, volunteer, please. We crossing guards are always welcome. And seeing nice grandmas and grandpas' faces makes students feel a little bit more welcome. So if we can do it, please do. Thank you.
Anna, is there a link that you want to put into the chat that we can share to find out more information about some of the needs that they have for FSUSD that we could know about?
I guess you just the website.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, teachers, for educating our future.
Absolutely. We have completed our agenda for the evening. I want to thank all of you for your patience and good humor during this interview process. The questions that people came up with were wonderful. And I think we gained a lot of information about all of our candidates. So thank you. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, raise your hand. We have done it. Thank you, everyone. You're getting out of here early before 8 o'clock. This is awesome. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of the month and take care, everyone. Good night.
Bye. Thank you.
Night.
Night.